Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Get ready for mosquito season with their new mosquito treatment. More effective than ever. Mosquitoes actually carry this treatment wherever they go. And the positive is it's not going to impact all the other good insects you have in your yard. Bumblebees, honeybees, and butterflies and that kind of thing. They're not going to be impacted by this. This is a mosquito-specific treatment, and nobody's going to worry about killing mosquitoes. In fact, there's nothing more fun than killing mosquitoes. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, southeasttermite.com. That's who you get in touch with. I wouldn't make a very good Buddhist, apparently. Okay, back with Josh Ward, Sterling Hinton, Daniel Hood. Let's talk about the guy who came into spring as the projected starter, Joe Milton. Again, I'll start with the quarterback over here. Your thoughts on Joe Milton? He came out yesterday. His first throw was an overthrow down the sideline. I thought, oh, boy, here we go. But for what they allowed him to show, it was they didn't exactly pull out the whole playbook yesterday.
Oh, absolutely.
Focused a lot on the short passing. Your thoughts on Milton's performance?
As far as just his performance,
Yeah.
is what he did was what was expected of him.
Yeah.
I had the blessing of going to practice a few times, and Joe is ready, man. Joe's ready. I mean, I'm excited for his future. He's got a guy behind him that's a dog, and I think the guy behind him is a dog. I think that's a position, the quarterback position is solid. But Joe's ready. He's shown me some things that he's elevated his game, and I can't wait to see him perform this fall.
The number 3 guy you mentioned there, it's Milton, it's Iamaleava, and then, of course, Gaston Moore, who he followed Josh Heupel up from UCF. He was a walk-on last year, got in for the Vanderbilt game. Got in another game, didn't he? Did he get it a couple times last year?
Yeah.
I know he got a Vanderbilt. But I agree with you. I thought now he was with the threes, so what he was asked to do out there was a little bit different. But I thought he looked solid. I thought that all 3 of your quarterbacks looked solid. So much of the position today, so much of the game today revolves around your quarterbacks. It looks to me, after one spring game, a scrimmage, looks to me like you got 3 guys that are competent, which is a huge step forward, because I don't know that you got 3 competent guys elsewhere in the SEC. Not everybody has 3 competent guys. Daniel, your thoughts on the quarterback position overall? Milton, if you want to go there, wherever.
No, I thought Milton had a great game. It's pretty incredible to see what Josh Heupel has done. You lose a Hendon Hooker, who's now projected in the first round of the NFL draft, and you just reload, and you got 3 guys that are going to be able to push each other. If Milton takes off any single week, you got Nico there, you got Gaston Moore there to really push those guys, and it's amazing how he's able to simplify the game so that those guys can really just hone in and focus on making plays.
Yeah, with Gaston Moore, he looks like a guy that's been running the system for a few years. With Nico, what was the first question? Okay, what's it going to be like for him with the tempo and how fast he's going to have to go? Gaston understands that. So you could see that out there on the field with him being the number 3 guy. With Joe, Sterling, when you talk about him being ready, a big difference to me now versus 2 years ago when he came in, and he wasn't even here yet 2 years ago.
Yes.
He had to very quickly learn what he was supposed to do, learn that tempo, the system, and establish himself as the guy. And he wasn't ready for that then. Yeah. He looks much more ready in understanding what it takes to be the starter, the role that takes. Like the spring game when either Nico or Gaston was out there on the field, when they came back off, Joe's on the field welcoming them back off. That's not a huge thing, but it is a little thing, I think, in terms of leadership and showing that you're QB1 now.
Well, it also shows, what it takes to be productive on offense. When you look at all the great offenses in the world that's played in all these years of football has been around, the quarterback position has always been unified. When Joe Montana came off the sidelines, he had Steve Young. When you think about those lineages of quarterbacks, when Miami had Testaverde and Walsh and all those guys, you look at the years, what Alabama's doing right now, what Ohio State's doing right now. When the position is unified, the offense excels, and like we get the credit for everything good that happens, everything bad that happens. That comes with our position as a quarterback. But when the offense is productive, is now, especially the way the game has evolved, the quarterback position is together, and that's a beautiful thing to see.
As opposed to when Peyton Manning locked the door so Brandon Stewart couldn't get in and watch film. Although that worked out because you had a pretty special player.
And I think the one thing that can't be overstated is the value of, Hendon Hooker's lessons Now,
Yes.
now Milton has, and he can pass those down to those guys. And so when you get a couple years into the system, like, hey, look for this. Hey, on this play, you need to make this read, and you've seen those game film, it's going to help those other guys accelerate quicker.
Yeah, Nico has compared his position to Milton's position last year, with Milton being in that hooker role, the starter, the guy, with Milton then trying to pass that down, which he understands better because of Hinton.
Now, one quick thing. During the ESPN Plus streaming broadcast yesterday, Jordan Rogers and the other announcer, I apologize, don't remember his name, they talked about the fact that they asked Milton how far he could throw it, and he said, well, 80, no problem. But then he said, 95, time or two in practice. And they were astounded that he could throw it 95 in practice. I don't buy it. If you can throw an orange 100 yards and that goes viral on social media, if you throw a football 95 yards, then you should be able to throw an orange 300 yards in mine, okay? But you think he's got the arm strength to throw it 95 yards, so he can throw a Hail Mary from his 15.
Well, that
Into
would
the
be
end zone.
85. So yeah,
Into the end zone would be.
that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's got a special arm, and I've been around guys that have special arms. I mean, the guy that had a special arm that ended up playing wide receiver here was Kelly Washington. I watched him throw at 85. So, it wouldn't surprise me if he could. I hadn't seen it, but it wouldn't surprise me. Joe's got a rocket.
95 yards?
I don't know about 95, but I'd give him 80. I think 80 is comfortable for that guy.
I can see 80.
You can definitely do 80.
Yeah, I can
95,
see it.
Josh?
You're not going to see me ever wager against Joe Milton on a throw, but I'd be skeptical at 95. That's a big launch, even for the guy that does have the bazooka.
Yeah, I mean, at 95, to get that in, you could get it in the end zone from your 5. I mean, right? Yeah.
Hey.
So get it to the goal line. So you're still in the game, even if it's your 5 with a second to go. That just seems.
I love it, John.
Sterling
Yeah, I
buys
love
it.
it.
Sterling buys it. Of course he does. All right. When we come back, who popped? Who flopped? Did anybody flop? Were there drops out there we didn't like? Did anybody put the ball on the turf we didn't like? Or was it just a bunch of people out there that kind of caught our eye in a positive sense? We'll discuss that the next couple of segments. Who caught our eye? That's next on The Sports Source.